Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. This is the first episode of the series of Safwa. That's the prophets, the anointed people, the chosen people. Of course, we'll start with Adam, peace and blessings be upon him. But before we go into details about the story of Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden, there are a few points that we have to illustrate, to clarify. For example, angels and jinn, because they are involved in this story. Angels and jinn are creatures created by God, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Angels created out of light, while jinn created out of smokeless fire. Both are concealed from our vision, from our sight. We cannot see them. They are spirits. But they are involved in our daily life. Angels are obedient to God, and they are sincere in their obedience. They are always praising God, greeting Him, executing whatever He wants. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need them, but He wants them to execute some of the deeds, some of the works. But of course, God does not need anybody. Jinn also are concealed from our sight, from our vision. We don't see them, but they are existing. And they were given the chance before us to be the vicegerent of Allah on earth. Now, what do we mean by vicegerent? Vicegerent is somebody, if there is a director of any project, he sometimes nominates somebody to be his vicegerent, so that during his absence or his away or sleep or sickness, he will take over. He will do the job. But in case of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah never sleep, never get sick. So what is a vicegerent of God? Vicegerent of God is only a person, a creature by God, who supposed to do things that Allah wants for His people and for the whole environment and for the other animals and other plants. So the first chosen group were the jinn, but failed. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything, so He chose another creatures, that Adam and his offspring, human beings. The angels, as we said, are very obedient, and they are very sincere in their obedience. They wanted to have this privilege. So they asked God to give them this privilege of being the vicegerent on earth, to take care of the animals, the pets, the wild animals, the cattle, domestic animals, the cereals, the grains, trees, fruits, environment, everything. They asked God this out of their sincerity. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful, He gave them, He knows their good intentions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows their good intentions. So He just want to prove to them that Adam is more suitable for this job than the angels. The matter is not sincerity, but the talent and the ability to do the job. So He gave them a test. He brought things and He showed it to the angels and to Adam. What are these? So we don't know from Quran what are these things, but Quran mentioned them as names. But I will give you an example just to make it easy for us to conceive. I will give you just examples to make it easy for us to understand. I will take 4 examples from myself. I will give you 4 examples from myself. I chose myself just to clarify the point, but this is not what really happened. So pay notice for this. He brought them a bowl, a knife, a saw, and a plow. What are these? But because these things should be used on earth. Anybody who will live on earth will need these things. The angel couldn't figure out what are these things. They said, well, God, we don't know, except if you tell us, then we will know it. There is no way for us to know these things. Adam said, well, I can guess. This is something that I can put water inside, I can put milk, I can put grains, fruits, whatever. So I'll call it container. This thing that there is, I can catch it with my hand, and there is a sharp side of it. I can cut things. I will call it a cutter or a knife. The third thing, that's the saw. He said, well, there is a hand piece that I can catch, and there is something sharp, but it has some teeth. So I can put it, I can cut branches, cut trees with this. I'll call it a saw. Okay? And this one is something I can catch with 2 hands. I can dig it in the ground to till the ground. I call it plow. So the angels understood that Adam is more suitable for this job. He's more talented to know how to live in earth more than they do. That was their stance, and that was their understanding. Iblis, an individual of the Jinn, ages and ages before Adam, was living on earth. The angels noticed this person, noticed his piety, his righteousness. He was concealing his wickedness. He was pretending righteousness, but in reality he is not. He is not righteous, but he was pretending. He was pretending this righteousness while he is not. to the extent that the angels asked God, prayed to God that they may take Iblis with them to the heavens, from earth to the heaven. Allah knows everything. He knows the truth about Iblis, about the arrogance that he carries inside his chest. God allowed them. They took him with them to the heavens. When Allah wants to reveal his true identity, he asked the angels, among them Iblis, to prostrate to Adam. Why to prostrate? Because they have a lot of things to do with Adam and to help Adam in his Adam. And this prostration is not a worship. They are not worshiping. God knows that it is not worship. Adam knows, and the angels know. It's not worship. But it is as a covenant that they will work with Adam for the benefit of earth, the animals and the plants, again and again. All prostrated, all angels prostrated to Adam, except Iblis. He did not. Why? It was for the surprise of the angels. Why, Iblis? Why you did not prostrate? Why? He said, well, why should somebody who was created out of fire to prostrate to somebody who was created out of mud? This is wrong. Do you know what does this mean? This means that the Satan, Iblis, thinks that he is more wise than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is accusing Allah being ignorant and not wise. The right things to do, according to him, is that he will make the opposite. The right thing to do for him is that God asked Adam to prostrate to Satan. And this is a very, very big sin, very huge sin, is to accuse Allah that he is not wise, that he does not know what are the priorities. This is the first sin that occurred in this story. By this, we conclude this episode. We'll see you in the next episode, inshallah. Until then, peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you.